Hi, I'm Roger Belcher with the Kids Hope Alliance. In this video, we're going to cover data manager training for summer camps. Much of what you'll see in this video is applicable to other seasonal business rules, such as after school, with the exception of units of service, which I'll cover in some detail. But know that everything that you're going to see here is standard data manager tasks and generally will not change unless we have updates in the system or changes to business rules and procedures. So having said that, let's look at what the data manager skills are. Typically, a summer camp data manager or after school will need to manage demographic records. That includes existing records from previous summer camps or new demographic records for participants joining for the first time. Then there's recording attendance. We call that units of service. It's either absent or they get a with a zero for the day, or they get a 1.0 for attendance in the summer camp program if they're there at least 3 hours. We have data integrity concerns. Do we have the name spelled correctly, the correct DCPS student ID in the system, and so forth. Managing sign-in sheets is very important. As of the taping of this video, we are still doing the standard printing of a SAMUS sign-in sheet that students will use to show when they come into the facility and when they leave. And then those are scanned and used as a deliverable supporting your attendance records. You need to know how to run reports. There's a special report called the 80/20 or PUOSPR2 report that's run from the BI module in SAMUS. We'll cover how to do that and why you need to do that only after recording attendance and using your close date module for the month you're requesting payment for. And then navigating and searching. So those are the basic skills, and we're going to step through those in this order. We're going to learn how to find a program page, how to add a new participant record, printing sign-in sheets, modifying existing participants, and I'll stress again, if a participant is already in the system from last year, you want to reopen that participant as opposed to creating a duplicate record of that participant. So that usually entails doing a search for the participant if you don't know if they're there or not before you make a decision. Closing or reopening an existing participant, recording units of service attendance, the document repository, which is one place where you can attach required documents to your program page in SAMUS. And that's not only for sharing data or confidential PII with your KHA contract manager, it's also a repository for your program that's a permanent record. Using that close date module, which is how you will show which days of the month are open for service days and should be counted on the 80/20 report, and or which days are closed, weekends and holidays, when you do not provide service. It's very important that you are accurately closing or opening service days in that module before running the 80/20 report. And then how to run that report, and we'll talk a little bit about deliverables. We'll also go over resetting the password on your own and how to contact the help desk. So before we get into it, I want to stress the recording of attendance, how that breakdown is going to look. For a participant in your summer camp that is there less than 3 hours, you'll have to show that the same as being absent. That will be recorded as 0.00. Any participant that's there at least 3 hours will receive a full day of units of service, which is a 1.0. And we'll see how to do that in a moment. This is the way to contact the help desk through email, samus@coj.net, for technical questions. When you email us, I recommend that you copy your contract manager, KHA contract manager. You should know who that is. If you need to call us for something expedited, 255-4410, Sometimes we're on the phones, and you'll leave a voice message, and make sure you give us contact information and so forth. Email is often the best way to go. So having gone through all of that, let's begin to step through these modules and learn these basic tasks for data manager in our summer camps. The first thing that you need to know how to do is finding a program page. Every site location will have a program page where you will record required information. So if I have Roger Belcher's after school program, site location will be represented in SAMIS with a program page. And those program pages are found in delivery, on the delivery module, versus the fiscal module, versus the BI module. Those are the three modules. BI for your 80/20 report, fiscal for reimbursements and budgets, which usually would only be accessible by a finance manager. And then all our data managers will go to delivery. If I click delivery, it's going to take me to my dashboard. And let's say that I want to go to my program page. Well, I'm going to go up on the sub menu here and click programs. Notice there's a recent. It shows me what I've opened in the last day or so. Or I can just click a new program or go to programs. I typically click programs, and then it's going to let me see all the programs that I have access to. Usually you will have one or two. Some organizations will have a person who can see multiple program pages. The program name, these are the program pages. I'm going to be working in the Jumbo test program page this morning for this class. Notice I can manipulate columns. I can come here and I can say I want to see active or inactive, and there you go. I can come back and mark that like that, and then only see active. I can come up here and type a name. Let's say I'm gonna look just for Jumbo, and well, it pulled it up there, and I'm getting some other things due to some letter sequencing there. But that's how you do a typical search. You can also clear all your filters and go back to default there. Now I'm going to come back over here and type Jumbo and pull that up, and I'll mark my active column with a 1. And that's a general way to manipulate this result set. Now, if I want to view this program page, all I have to do is click View. And that's going to take me to the program page where I'm going to do all my work. And let's see if I can, there we go. Okay, so that's how we find a program page. To recap that, if I'm on the dashboard, I'm a data manager, going to my program page, I'll click Delivery, I'll click Programs, and then I should see it down here. If I want to get back to the dashboard in Delivery, notice I'm still in Delivery here on my dashboard. I could also use the recent. If I see it, I can go in just like that, and I'm on the program page. I know I'm on the program page because it gives me the name of the program, the site location, and I have various controls. I have something that shows me what attendance has been looking like, and a number of modules and pods. I even have a map that shows me where participants are recorded as their home address in the system. If I go all the way to the bottom, I have a list of my participants in the program right here. So that's how I could see that. That's all the way down at the bottom of the vertical scroll. So that's how we find a program page. Now let's see, how do we add a new participant? Well, before you add a new participant, make sure that you don't already have that participant in there from last year. You may find that you can come down here, and let's say you're going to add a participant, or you have a participant enrolled, but you don't know if they're in there. I'm looking for someone named Buzz. Well, there's Buzz. So I don't have to create a new participant for Buzz. I would simply go in and reactivate the existing participant. But let's say that I'm going to do a new record for Joe. Well, Joe's not in there. I just did a search. I'm reasonably confident of that. I can click New Participant right here and create that demographic record. Or if I'm up here, I can go to Create New and go to participant. Since I'm here, I'm going to do that. Create new and participant. Now then, I searched first and I saw that Joe was not in my list of closed or open participants. So the first thing I'm going to do is choose his school, confirm that my program is what I think it is, and it is, and then the open date. Typically, your open date will be the first day of service on the contract. Even that's not necessarily the first day of service that the participant showed up. They could come in the middle of camp or near the end and you're adding them. But I recommend that you go back and do the first day of your contract. I'll simulate June 1st, 2023 here. That way, if there are other things that come to light later that need to be adjusted in the system on an earlier date than maybe they started on, you can always go back to the beginning of the contract period. Participant type will always be youth. Involvement will always be primary. Then you type the first name. Let me see if I can type this morning. And middle name is optional. Last name will go with fake for this. PIN code is not necessary for standard demographic records. However, we are running a pilot that covers how to do that. And you may see that in the future. Date of birth, just going to put something in here. And it calculates the age. Last four of the social security number, if you know it. If you don't know it, you can leave it blank. I'm going to put that in there and choose the race and then the home address. Now I'm just going to simulate an address here. And we're going to step through this quickly. Make sure that you get that information correct. And then participation reason, our primary reason in this case will be summer camp. You will not need a secondary reason. And then for your activities and services, your primary will be summer programs. There will be for standard summer programming, summer camps, you will not need a secondary. Primary summer programs and primary participation reason, summer camp. Then we're going to come down for the student ID. This is the student ID from DCPS. It should be an 8-digit number. Occasionally you'll have a leading zero. That's okay. Put it in there so that you have 8 numeric values, no letters. And we do not need the suffix there that you often see. It's just these 8. If you don't know this number, you need to get that number. Now, what do you do if you don't have this number? You're setting up the demographic record, but mom said she'd bring that to you tomorrow. You've got to get this in today. You can do 9999 and the last four of the social security number. Let's see what I put in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, I think it was. Yep, just copy that. Put it after the nines. The nines come first, and then the last four of the social. But what if you don't have a social security number? And you just need this temporary student ID. Put in your 4 nines, and then look at your date of birth. In this case, the month and the date were 0101. So I'll come down here and I'll put 0101. So social security first if you have it, the last 4. Otherwise, it's MMDD. 0101, that's MMDD. Don't put the letters, but put it like this. But hopefully, you'll have that number when you do your data entry. If you do not, you're going to need to get that number before camp ends and modify this record. Okay. And let's see, we've got a rising 11th grader. If I can get that in there. And then we're good. I've entered a value for all the required fields. I'm going to click save. And that's going to take a moment. And now it's saved. Record saved. I saw the green indicator. And I have a valid record here with an open episode date. See, June 1st was the day that I opened this participant record. So that's all I need to do to create this participant record. I can then come up to the breadcrumb, as it's called, click the program name, and it will take me back to the program page. Okay. Again, to recap that, I'm going to create a new participant. The first thing I'm going to do is search. I can search for that participant from the submenu or down at the very bottom, and give it a moment here to display. And I come down here, so we just added one for Joe. If I want to confirm that he's there, do that, and we should have that record pop up. There it is. And then I can clear that like this. So that's how we create a new record. We search first to make sure it's not already there. Now let's say that we come down here and we want to see if John is in the system. John's coming back this year. I think he was there last year. I do the search. Sure enough, there he is. I click view. Now what I have to do with John is I have to determine, yeah, he's closed. See, the closed on the episodes, he had an open date of August 1st and a closed date in October of 2022. So this is a closed deactivated record because I can see that there's a start date and end date and a closing reason. Well, I want to open him again for this year. So I can come over here and I can click like that, but do not change these dates. Leave that record as is, and then we're going to come down here and click or go up to the blue button and click new episode. And my open date is going to be we'll say we'll go with the first day of the contract for the summer camp. I leave close date blank, closing reason blank. I'm just giving an open date and I'm saving. Now you'll see a new episode. Start date, no closing reason, no close date. This is now an active student that will show up on the units of service attendance sheet, will show up on the sign-in sheets. But if you have kids in your system that are just closed, they will not show up in attendance and they will not show up on the sign-in sheet. So that's how you know that you successfully opened them. Again, what did I do? I searched first for John. Realized that I already had a demographic record, check the last name, check the home address, and date of birth and so forth. Yeah, that's the guy coming back. So then I just open the episode again instead of recreating a new record. So now he's open. I'm going to go back to my program page. And I know that if I went down there, John would be there with an open date. So that's how we create a new participant or reopen a returning participant, and how we search for a participant. Again, we just come down here on our program page, click in this field, and you can type in any name that you want to confirm if they're in there or not, like that. All right, so I think that's covered everything for creating or reopening. Now let me say this, if I need to make a change, let's say that I need to modify John's record. I come down here. Now I'm on the demographic page. See, there's the open episode. And I want to make a change for something. I click modify. Maybe I need to come down here and change their home address. Maybe they don't live here anymore. Maybe they live on Teen Oak Street. And I click save, and that's how you could, and then we didn't capture, so it is a required field, and I put that in the wrong field. Look at that. So I come back up here, put it in the correct field. That's the required field. Now I click save, and I've successfully modified that existing open record. And if I scroll down, I can see that stuck, and I'm good to go. Go back up to the program page by clicking the program name in this breadcrumb. Click that, and I'm back again. Okay, so we've learned how to find our program page. We've learned how to search for an existing participant and either create a new demographic record or give a new episode to a closed participant record for someone returning. That sign-in sheet that we need tells us who is open. Maybe you're going through a stack of enrollments and you're not sure if you got them all in there or not. You want to double check that, do a little quality control. So you're going to come over here and go to reports, and you're going to view reports, and we're going to click the attendance sign-in sheet. Now, you'll check your program page. Now, I have access to all of them. You'll only have to one or two, so it's not such a big list to go through, but it is type ahead. Involvement, all involvements, and that's all you need. Don't bother with current grade. Don't put anything in participants with new episodes since. Leave the last two fields blank. Choose your program, choose all involvements for involvement, and run the report. Now then, here you see a sign-in sheet for a test program. Everyone's last name is fake. There's Buzz. Let's see. There's Joe. We just added Joe. Here's John. We just opened him. If I had not opened John with that new episode, he would not appear here. He would. So if you're going down here and you have generated the sign-in sheet and you see a name that should be there that is not, either you need to go find that participant record and give it a new episode for this year, June 1st, 2023, or you need to create a new demographic record if they've never been in the system before. You can download this as a PDF and then print it. And notice there's a date for blank date. So you print 5 or 10 copies. Now you may have a summer camp program where you have 5 or 6 pages on your summer camp sign-in sheets. So you'll print a copy of the entire set of pages, and then you'll use that over and over again. You might just print one copy and then use your copy machine to make more copies and save the ink on your printer. So again, download it and print it. And this is kind of the one way to tell who you have enrolled and open and ready to record attendance for. So that's how we get to our sign-in sheets. Again, that's reports, view reports, attendance sign-in sheet. Just choose your program and involvement. Okay. Let's look at recording units of service. I'm going to take us back to the dashboard. I'm going to go to delivery, and I'm going to go to my program page. It happens to be recent or in my recent listings, but if it's not, I can click programs, and it should display in the list of the return set, the result set. I'll click view, and now I'm on my program page, and I'm ready to record attendance. And I'm basing the attendance on what? On the sign-in sheets. So I go to program details to record attendance, and I slide down and choose record individual attendance under the attendance units of service, record individual attendance units of service. I click that and we'll open the module. The first thing I need to do when I'm in the attendance module is I need to select a service. Choose active, that's all you have to do. You could also do active summer programs if that's the one, or you could do all services. You'll know you chose the right one because you'll get the names of your participants that are on that sign-in sheet. But I'm not quite ready yet. Notice the dates here or maybe not what I'm looking for. Well, you come over here and you can choose today, which is what I recommend, and only do one day at a time. Strongly recommend that you do attendance daily. If you wait to the end of the week to go through all your sign-in sheets and do Monday through Friday, it's going to be unnecessarily complex and take an extra long time. You could do it though. You would come down here and do a custom range, and let's say that I wanted to do the week of May 29th through June 2nd. On custom range, I pick those dates, and let's see here, and I click apply, and it's going to give me those dates in a minute. And there you go. But that's, and by the way, if you come in here and you do that, and you know, the way this works, you can put a 1 in a column, in a cell, I should say, and then you can drag that horizontally, you can drag it vertically, and and notice it's summing down here. So I can come down here and do that, and notice the numbers are changing. Now, what did we say earlier? If a participant is there 3 hours or more, they get a 1. But if they're there 2.5 hours, they get a 0, which is blank. And the blank is effectively the same as 0 for the calculations. So if you have someone that was absent or they're less than 3 hours, you do that. But I don't recommend you do it this way. What I recommend is that you come over here and you choose today. And I'll show you how to do this really fast. Let's say I have 150, 200 kids over here, and I'm just doing June 7th. I can come up here and click pre-fill and put a 1 and click OK. And now all of my kids, 250, 300, doesn't matter what I've got, all have a 1. But you know you're going to have some absenteeism or some kids that left before that 3-hour threshold. So let's say that Brian went home early. I just come in after using pre-fill, and I can put a space in there or a 0. So anyone that's absent gets that 0 or the space. Now you usually are going to have fewer absents than present. So that's why it's more efficient to do pre-fill for everyone and then come back and just remove those who are absent based on your sign-in sheets. Now you could use pre-fill when I had that full week showing, but if you do that, it's going to pre-fill a whole week, and that again is a little more complicated. If you're just doing one day at a time, it keeps it simple. When you're done, you can return to the program page by coming up to program details. Now notice I did June 7th. Well, let's just go back into it. So I'm on my program page. Let's go back to units of service, record individual attendance. I'm going to choose all services. I'm going to choose today and just confirm that it took. Sure did. Look at that. It even, if I hover over it, even shows when and who recorded that. Word of caution: it is unlikely but possible that while you're working, you lose internet access. And sometimes that can happen, and you have a cached version of this website on your browser. It could be that if you've lost internet access after you started working at SAMUS, it won't be clear or obvious. And so I always make a habit of, once I record attendance, I go back in and look at it that second time, like we did here, just to make sure. Again, very unlikely that that sort of thing can happen, but be aware of it. In the summertime, power goes off or internet access goes down, and you wouldn't want to go through the step of adding attendance and not double checking to make sure it was there the way that you expected it to be. Excuse me. Let's talk a little bit about the document repository. While on the program page, if I go to the sections area, right here's sections, and I go to Files Document Repository, that's a module that you can use to upload documents. And those documents can be viewed securely by your KHA contract manager, by the SAMUS team, or by anyone on your side that has access to the system. This becomes a permanent record. And then these documents, I don't know what this one is, but I'll click it. It can be opened and reviewed. And there it is, how to use PowerPoint. So that is a way to place documents in there. And these days, most of your deliverables, such as your 80/20 report, your attendance report, are attached to the reimbursement by the finance manager. But always do what your contract manager says. If they tell you to put a document in your document repository, that's how you would do it. Again, if you're on program details, you need to go to the document repository. You click program details, go down to the sections area, and then you will choose files. Where is it? Files, document repository, just like that. Okay, the next thing I want to talk about is the closed dates module from your program page. Under attendance units of service, you see closed dates. This is what I mentioned earlier. It's critical, it's imperative that you use this to show the days of service that you're providing and the days that you are not providing service for, so that that 80/20 report can be calculated correctly. I'm using the calendar here to find the month that I want to close or open dates. A dark blue date, as you see for this Saturday and Sunday grouping in April, means that that date is closed and will not be counted on the 80/20 report as an open service day. So for April, you can see that I have 20 service days on those 4 weeks. And you will want to come over here if you're doing summer camps, and you will want to handle June and July. Oh, you know, July 4th is going to be a holiday. You're probably not providing service. If that's true, then you click that. If you have one that's closed that you need to reopen because it turns out you will provide service, just click it. And so that's all you have to do to toggle that on or off. Again, dark blue is closed and no color is open. So for April, I have it the way I need it. So I'm going to exit out of here. Before the 80/20 report is run, make sure attendance has been completed for the month and the closed dates has been addressed to show what days of service are open or closed. Then you can run the 80/20 report. So I've talked a lot about it. Let's go over and see it. Now let me point out where you don't go for this report. You don't go to reports. Instead, the 80/20 report is a BI report. BI stands for Business Intelligence Module. To get there, just go back up to this drop down where you see delivery and you'll see BI. I click BI and it's going to take me to a new module. Here is where you will see another report menu and click View Reports. And I'm looking for something that's officially called the PUOS PR2 report right there. Now, you're not going to see all of these reports, so don't let that kind of overwhelm you. You're just going to see a few, and you're going to look for the PUOS payment report V2.1. That is, as you see here, the 80/20 report is how it's commonly referred to. Okay, so I'm going to click that report because why? My attendance is completed for April, and I've addressed the closed dates module for April. Okay, so you're going to come in here, you're going to run this report. The first thing you want to do is your start date. Well, it's going to be the first day of the month in question. Now, in reality, you might be doing June 1st for summer camps or July 1st. For this test, I'm going to April 1st because that's where I have my test data. And then the end date is generally the last day of the month. So if you're doing June 1st and June 30th or July 1st and July 31st, you got to choose a fiscal year. For summer camps, there it is, 2023 summer camps. That's the real fiscal year. You will see that. That's assigned for you. Choose that. If you're using this video to see how to do something in an after school later than 2023 summer camps, you just go down and find whatever it would be. The contract manager can tell you what your fiscal year would be. The SAMHSA help desk can assist with that too. And then choose your program page. Now, you may only have one program page and you automatically see it, or you may have to do a search for it like I did. But now I'm ready. I've got my start date and the end date of the month I want to report. And why am I running this report? Because I need it to get paid on the reimbursement request for the organization. It's going to look at the units of service attendance for the month that you specify, and then your finance manager will put that on the reimbursement report. I'm going to click Run Report, and in a couple of seconds, it'll generate this thing. There it is. Now, there's quite a bit to talk about here. I have a video that just covers this report. It's about a 4 or 5, 6 minute video. I'm not going to go through all of the details, just what you need to know to run it and to understand the main points. If I scroll down, I'm going to see all my participants that I have attendance recorded for. Now notice here, open days. That's crucial for this to work. And that is controlled by where the close dates module. So for April, I had 20 open days, as you remember. They call it the 80-20 report because what it does is it calculates 80% of your open days and assigns it to your threshold. Well, 80% of 20 is 16. So this is something that's going to help your organization in terms of how much money you can request to be paid. If we find a student that was there days attended 16, so he was there the same number of days as the threshold. Ordinarily, you would only be paid for $22.44 by times 16. But in this case, because it's the 80-20 report, you're going to be paid for as if this student attended all 20 days because they met the threshold. So they were there at least 16 days. They'll get paid as if they were there for 20 days. But however, here's a student that was there only 6 days. They did not meet the threshold, and so and it tells you that no, they did not meet it. So they're going to be paid only for the number of days they attended. $22.44 times 6 days is that amount. And so it does that for every participant in the month range that's listed. And the instructions for the fiscal manager, the finance manager, is that they'll take the lesser of these two values, and that's how much they'll request for a units of service type contract. In this case, that amount. But this maximum amount is calculated by 100% of contracted seats, which is 100 in this case, times 100% of open service days, which would be 20 days in this example, times the units of service dollar amount, which is $22.44, times 1.1. And that's how this number is calculated. But this number is simply the summation of this column on the report. And that's what we're going with because it tells us take the lesser of two amounts. As a data manager, you don't really need to know which one to choose. Your finance manager will do that. You need to know how to run this report and click download PDF. You download the PDF for this report and then give it to your finance manager. Now, I should say most finance managers can also run this report. But once you download it as a PDF, ultimately it's going to be attached to the reimbursement request. So let's see this one more time. I'm going to go to, in this case, I want to run the BI report. I can go to delivery. And then I will go not to reports on the dashboard, but I will go to the drop down and go to BI. Or I've got a BI module here on the dashboard. I can click that too and go straight to the BI module. Then I go to reports, view reports, go down to the POS payment report, POS PR2, start date, first day of the month that I want to request payment for, last day of the same month, choose my fiscal year, choose my program name, and click run the report. Here's the report. Download it and give it to the finance manager. If I want to go back to my dashboard and delivery, I can do so now. So that's all you typically need to get. Now there are other reports over here. I'll just click that. There's an attendance sign-in sheet. That's where your sign-in sheets are. You got to go there for that. There's also some things in here that you're not necessarily required to run unless your contract specifies it or your contract manager tells you. But there's a units of service activity report, one that shows activity for individual clients. I'm not going to go into all of that now, but if you're curious and you have time, you can go in and you basically just are putting in the appropriate run parameters. Usually that's the start and end date where attendance has been recorded, and the name of your program in the fiscal year in question. Okay, so we've covered reports and deliverables. Now to reset that password, if you're out there on the portal, at the very bottom of the portal, there's a little link that says reset password. Assuming that we have your email address correct in SAMUS, the system will send you an email link and then prompt you to go through the steps to reset the password. As I mentioned, also contacting the help desk is done through email at samus@coj.net 255-4410. So let's recap. We've gone over the basic skills necessary to work as a data manager for your summer camp, managing those demographic records. Remember, when you're opening records, search first. That participant could be in SAMUS from previous year. If they are, give them a new episode. If they're not in SAMUS, you're going to create a new demographic page for them with the start date of, generally that would be the first day of your contract, or first day, in this case, June 1st would work, or earlier. Record attendance, units of service, input module, do it for today, do it on daily. You can't do future dates, by the way, but it's best to use pre-fill for the today's date and then just show everybody is present and flip through your sign-in sheets and show each person that was absent. And remember, we'll go over the business rules in a minute, what that would equate to. Data integrity, make sure you get a valid student ID from DCPS that does not have the preceding or prefix of an S. And know what to do if you're temporarily not available, don't have that number, you temporarily got to put something in. It's 9999 plus the last four of the social security number if you have it, or 9999 plus the month, day of the birthday. But you do need to change that to a valid number. You got to get that from the parents, from an old report card, or even ask the parents to get it from DCPS so they don't know what it is. Manage those sign-in sheets. Enroll all your participants and then print the sign-in sheet. So that means you're going to reopen returning students by giving them a new episode, or you're going to create new demographic records. When you have everybody done, or you believe you have everybody done, run that sign-in sheet report, and that'll show you if you missed anyone, or if you have someone that isn't enrolled. It's possible that you have a participant from last year that was never closed correctly. So that participant did not come back this year, and yet they're showing up on your sign-in sheets. Well, just go to the program page, go to the participant list, find that participant, and close that episode. And then they'll fall off your sign-in sheet, and they won't be on your attendance module. Run your reports. The 80/20 report is critical. Run it from the BI module. Know how to navigate and search. The submenu to get to your program page is basically the most important thing. Know how to get to the BI module as well. So those are the critical skills. And we covered finding a program page, adding a new participant, printing sign-in sheets, modify an existing participant, close or reopen an existing participant, record units of service attendance, document repository, how to get to it and when to use it, what it's for. The close date module is critical. You must close non-service days for your summer camp. That would be June and July in most cases. Reports and deliverables, the BI, resending password, contacting the help desk. And we have individual videos. If you need a refresher on, let's say, recording units of service, we have a video that's just that, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 minutes. And you can ask the help desk or your contract manager, and someone can send you a link, but that's in SAMUS. Again, the business rules, any participant who signs in but leaves before 3 hours must be counted as absent. If they're there at least 3 hours through the rest of the day, then you count them for a full day. There are no half days. There's no partials, as it's called. There we have the contact information. We're wishing you a successful summer camp, the best of luck, and we look forward to working with you in the coming months for your summer camp program. So thank you, and have a great summer.